Could League finally be heading in the right way with these ADCs changes? I think so. I'm not sure they 100% know what to do with ADC, but for me, these changes coming up are a really, really good idea. And what's even crazier is I'm actually agreeing with the balance team for once. It's unbelievable. Thanks to SpiderAxe's incredible data mine, as per usual, we get an early preview of patch 14.12. And I really like the fact the balance team aren't happy with the current state of ADCs, even after all the changes, and are willing to experiment with some more changes. Look, not everything's going to land, but with a 2-week patch cycle and hotfix changes, it can all be quickly adapted and fixed. So what did they do? Well, yet again, I am Lisa Al-Gaib, as I foresaw this. ADCs are getting one-shot by everything, and literally across the board, every ADC are getting a pretty sizable HP buff on average. HP scaling going from most ADCs 3.75 HP to 5.5 HP per level, and this really adds up. Also, a lot of the ADCs got some attack speed buffs, especially earlier on in the game, and a few lost some AD or damage in exchange. So, early thoughts, what are we thinking? Good, bad? Is this what you do to fix ADC? What would you do? You could nerf other roles, you could change ADCs, I don't know, let me know. And while you let me know, click the subscribe button, as it is literally on the way to the comments, and we're rapidly closing in on 1,000 subs, which is incredible. But the sad news, I've baited you for about a minute. These changes were instantly reverted, which makes me think they will be coming soon, but accidentally got added into the game earlier than what the changes were ready for. Some of these changes are crazy though. Zeri was losing 5 base damage on her Q at level 5. That is honestly insane. And for those of you not as nerdy as me, you might be like, well, what's 5 damage? It's nothing. Well, in terms of AD, a longsword gives 10 AD. Let's go with 2 AD, right? That must be nothing. Basically, not even a stat, 1/5 of a longsword. Well, if you give Caitlyn or Graves 2 AD, they become best champs in the game. They become literally broken. If you take 2 AD off them, they're dog shit. It is mind-blowing how much of effect 2 AD has on a game. So taking 5 damage off Zeri's Q, although it is at level 5, but she maxes it first, it would have been really interesting to see what that would look like in game without, honestly, a major compensation buff to another part of her kit. It's super interesting though. I really like the direction of this ADC adjustment. It definitely needs some refining, but I feel like 80% of ADCs are designed to get off loads of attacks at a really high attack speed and do like a constant, like high damage but a drained type of attack, rather than just a burst we're seeing in recent patches. Bring back ADCs to the glory days when they're getting off 10 attacks in rapid succession, kiting in between them. Like that is the dream. But in order to achieve this and not just get one shot, they do also need a bit more survivability and a little less damage. So honestly, it's, although somewhat minor in numbers wise, I think the patch is 100% in the right direction. I've made my stance on ADCs pretty clear in other videos, but too long didn't read if you haven't seen them. ADCs are impossible to balance at the minute. If you want them to feel good to play in solo queue and be balanced in pro play at the same time, that's impossible. The skill gap is too large. The 25-minute games as well, ADCs can't be balanced for. There's too much damage in the game, so when you've got a role that only offers damage, they're kind of fucking useless. Which then, to make ADCs useful again, they've been buffed to such crazy amounts that Caitlyn's one-shotting, and honestly, she kind of needed that buff to be relevant, which is just kind of sad. Obviously, she's been nerfed now. RIP Caitlyn, we won't see her again for 2 years. Support's also too strong, so ADC is actually handicapped, as if both support and ADC are strong, bot lane as a duo is just game-breakingly OP, and it's just who can dive bot more, and no one really enjoys that gameplay cycle, and top lane is even more irrelevant. I think until other roles do less damage in the big one, the games start going 35-40 minutes. ADCs are always going to struggle, especially being balanced. Currently, a game goes past 35 minutes less than 10% of the time, and let's be honest, ADCs literally play the game for that 40-minute teamfight carry dopamine rush, don't we all? We artificially adjust everything in the game. Why don't we just have a 45-minute Baron plus Alder being so strong it just ends the game? Or even a brand new objective at 45 minutes that is just so strong that it is game winning. So games, and especially pro games, don't get dragged out to the dreaded 50 minutes, hour long like we've seen in the past. 45 minutes, you're forced into a 5v5 to decide the fight. And honestly, if you can't end a game before 45 minutes, you're doing something wrong anyway. Let's have this 5-on-5 to decide the game. What could be so bad about that? This game is best played when champs have a clear early, mid, late either strength or weakness, giving each champ and class a chance to shine. In 25-30 minute games, there's just not enough time. Like, is the ADC meant to be irrelevant at 20 minutes, but then at 25 minutes is meant to be strong enough to 1v9? The difference there is like 2 kills worth of gold. It's going to be really hard to balance that in a 25-minute game. Anyway, ADC changes are really good. Good to see the balance team's direction and thoughts on the game, where they're heading with it, and not settling after a massive rework to the ADCs that they're doing another patch. Look, game isn't going to be fixed in a patch. This patch isn't going to fix the game, but it's in the right direction, and that's all we can ask for. The game didn't get ruined in one patch. It isn't going to get fixed in one patch. Slightly different style of video than today, guys, and just let me know if it's decent for you or prefer the other style. See you tomorrow.